There we go. I forgot to add myself to the stream. Hi guys. Three Boy Mom, I will catch you up. That's what I figured I'll do tonight because I haven't done a show on it yet. So I'm just gonna go over like the basics, and if anyone has no idea what's going on, then I will fill you in. Hey Sarah, hey Crystal, hey Three Boy Mom. Oh, I look terrible. I was up to like 5 o'clock in the morning. My shirt's on the second. Fix myself. All right. So we're going to talk about Dylan Rounds, which has been quite the. I hate this shirt. I'm about to put on my other shirt. Hold on a minute. I'm putting a black t-shirt on because this one's just annoying me. Comes in too far on my shoulders. 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Ugh. Okay. Just a black t-shirt, but I'd rather be comfy than in this. Let me turn my phone off too. I'm so unprepared. Alright, so hey cool gamer. Alright, so let's talk about Dylan Rounds. So I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning last night watching Lars' channel, which was very entertaining. It went on forever, and every time that I was like, alright, I'm gonna go to bed, and then I just ended up staying up longer because crazy stuff just kept happening. So alright, so Dylan, let me share my screen so you can see a picture of him. So this is Dylan. He was 19. He went out to Lucin, Utah, I believe it is, to start a farm. He had like hopes and dreams of starting a farm, which is kind of confusing to me because I feel like AKNS, I don't know, the land doesn't look farmable to me. It just looks like a bunch of sand. So I don't know how he even farms out there, but he does. And his grandfather bought him this land, and he had a little like a camper. According to some people's like this little dusty, dirty camper, and he had like a grain truck. I don't know what he was farming out there, but he met this guy, Kurt Wadsworth, who is all right. So Utah is where he is in Utah, which is on the other side of the Big Great Salt Lake, I believe, in Lucin. It's probably like an hour, 2 hours, or around like 2 hours away from Montello, Nevada, which I believe is like the closest town, which isn't much of a town. It's like 2 bars and a gas station. They don't even have like a place to buy clothes. I mean, I remember they were asking this lady, Eileen, like, what do you have out there even? Is there like some place to buy clothes? And she was like, no, there's like 2 bars or 3 bars, a restaurant, a gas station. It's really not much. And so this guy, Kurt, I guess he met Dylan through this guy who used to own the farm or the land named Ed. And that's how they were introduced. So he has like a backhoe, and Dylan asked him to like dig a trench for them, I guess, to install this pipe to water the crops or whatever. And it was only supposed to be a short thing, and then he ended up working for him for some time. So this was like right after graduating high school. He was 19. He's 19 now, but I think he went over there when he was like 17, maybe. Flintstone Foot. Hey, Melkizzy. I love that name, Flintstone. Oh my god, that reminds me. What's her name? Wendy Williams. She did a show, or an interview with TMZ, and it was like the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I know this is totally off track, but I just like could not bring it up. She was talking like crazy, and my book, like she didn't even make sense. And then she said she had some disease, and then she like held her foot up, and it was like swollen and bent all weird. Oh, it was so gross. And she was like, "This is what's wrong with me. Look at my foot." No, you gotta watch it. Like Wendy Williams is totally different now. Like she's like, "I'm gonna do a podcast." I don't even know what podcast is. She's like, "But I'm gonna do a podcast." Which obviously she should know what a podcast is, because she was on radio for how many years. So, but it was really bizarre. You guys gotta check it out. All right, so I think that he went missing, I would say, around the 28th. I think that's the day that they're trying to say this went down. It was early in the morning, like 6 something in the morning, and he was talking to his grandma. Now, from what I hear, he had a really close relationship with his grandparents, but not so much with his own parents. Like, he didn't talk to his parents that much, but he talked to his grandparents a lot. And he spoke to his grandma that morning, early in the morning on the 28th, and said that it was going to rain and that he had to get his green truck put away. Now, if I recall correctly, I could be wrong, and if anyone knows the answer, you could correct me, but I believe he stores his grain truck on this neighbor's property who has like an airport or something. Like, and I think that guy's name is Ivo or something like that. I think that's what I heard, but there's so many people in this story. You know what? Let me see how long this video is. If it's something short, I can play it and we can see. Oh yeah, no, 26 minutes, definitely. No, it's kind of long. I don't know. I'm not gonna play that. Or what's this? Let's see this one. Let me stop sharing my screen for a minute. And
can't wait to be doctors.
If it's like a short little. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll play this real quick so you guys can have like a little thing. Give me 1 second. Okay.
From our viewers here on Prime, a young man named Dylan Rounds.
You guys hear it?
The recent high school
graduate disappeared over Memorial Day weekend while working on his farm in a remote area of Utah. And since then, search teams have spent more than 300 hours covering thousands of miles of land. But there has been no sign of Dylan, except for his only pair of boots found a short distance away from his camper. Marcos Ortiz is with our station KTVX in Salt Lake City and has been covering this case extensively since the beginning and also talking to Dylan's mom. Marcos.
You know, right after graduation, his mother said that Dylan Rounds knew what he wanted to do, and that was to operate his own farm. And he was just doing that along the Nevada and Utah border when he suddenly vanished.
This began on Monday, May 30th, Memorial Day, when we figured out a couple people, nobody had heard from my son for a couple days.
For the past year, this is where Dylan Rounds called home. It's along the Nevada-Utah border in Box Elder County. Dylan's mother said his dream was to start up his own farm, and this spring, he started from scratch.
Dylan's been working on this farm out in Lucin, Utah, his own farm, on getting the ground tore out and getting it prepared for a crop. This year was going to be his first crop. So that farm was his whole life.
He lived in this camper, and when no one heard from him on Memorial Day weekend, his Idaho family traveled to his farm. It was abandoned.
We've been searching. We've been looking everywhere. Search and rescue came out on Monday, May 30th. They were out there in the afternoon, and that first afternoon, we located his boots.
His mother said the boots were a short distance away from his RV camper, and it's the only pair he owns.
At that point, it should have been treated as foul play. I mean, you just don't find somebody's boots in the desert that's missing.
On the Box Elder County Sheriff's Facebook page, they consider it a missing persons case. They've received tips and continue to search the Lucin area. The sheriff post said his pickup truck was found on the property and believed he was on foot. His mother said despite recent rains before his disappearance, it appeared not to have been moved, raising more suspicions.
It's like it never moved in the rain. Like he never took it anywhere on Saturday, like they originally thought.
Wednesday, before he was last seen in the town of nearby Lucin, he told his mother of a man walking barefoot along the road.
He said, "Mom, you'll never believe what happened to me. This guy jumped out of the desert. He was bloody. He didn't have shoes on. He wanted a ride. I didn't give him a ride."
The family learned of the man, but she says he doesn't believe he's connected after talking with him. She's unsure if authorities feel likewise. Search and rescue units from both Box Elder County and nearby Nevada have continued to search the area, but there's still no sign of Dylan.
He was so excited when I talked to him Thursday. He says, "Mom, my grain's growing. It's coming up. I'm going to get a crop this year." I just ecstatic, high on the world about it, and then just vanished. Nothing, not a trace.
Now, Dylan's family very upset with law enforcement because they thought from the very outset this was suspicious. His disappearance was very questionable, was not like him, but she says it was another 2 weeks before they finally labeled this a criminal investigation. Back to you, Marnie.
Yeah, tough for the family to digest that. Marcos, I know you've been in touch with police and investigators who are looking into Dylan's disappearance. Do they have any suspects, any leads, a person of interest at this point?
Well, they're not saying anything publicly, just a general Facebook press release talking about how they are investigating what they're looking at, but they're not saying whether or not there's any persons of interest or even suspects in this case. The family does say that they have issued some warrants on some individuals, but who those persons are, it's hard to say. Marnie?
And Marcos, the FBI now involved, correct? What are they saying?
Well, they're saying very little about this case. They are saying that they are providing help, resources, and that's typical with a lot of these cases, but very little besides that.
All right, Marcos Ortiz in Salt Lake tonight. Marcos, thank you. And anyone with information on this case, call the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office or the Texas EQ Search. Those numbers on your screen. Dylan's story is heartbreaking. There are so many other stories just like Dylan, people who have gone missing. We need your help to shed some light on all of these cases. If you know someone who has gone missing, someone you know, someone you care about, we'd like to partner with you and you'd like us to look into that case, please submit information on our website, newsnationnow.com.
Okay, so, a couple days before he went missing, he had this weird encounter where this guy, Kurt Wadsworth said this, that, his family and Kurt said this, that he told them that this guy, his name is Chase Venstra. This dude lives in, a sand hole in the ground with, a cardboard box for a lid. But, he came out of the blue and jumped in front of Dylan's truck, and he had one shoe on, one shoe off, and he had a shirt tied around his leg. And he asked him, or he said he was thirsty, and Dylan gave him a drink, and then I think he asked him for a ride, but I don't believe he gave him a ride. Now, Chase Venstra, he is, from what I hear, on meth, and he and a group of other people rob a lot of people, and he has a violent criminal history. And the Wadsworths and the Ventures hate each other, like the Hatfields and McCoys. So he goes missing. They find his boots on the property, and there was a spot of blood on the boots. And they haven't confirmed if it's human blood, but they've or animal blood, but they've confirmed that it's blood. And then I did find some pictures of Chase Venture. Apparently, he breeds chihuahuas. There's this like picture of him holding chihuahuas. He looks like, long hair, like rough looking, long hair, guy. But yeah, so they showed where he like lived, and it's like this square hole in the ground with dead dogs in it. I guess somebody dug up his dead dogs, but there was like dead dogs buried in his hole, and it looked like, to me from the picture, there was like a cardboard box over it. I don't know how somebody lives there, but I guess it's different out there. I don't know. And so there's been a lot of rumors going around. So this PI, Jim Terry, which I feel like he's one of those guys where you like hate him or love him type guys, but I personally think he's hilarious. He cracks me up with. He's very entertaining. He was hired by the grandparents of Dylan, and he started interviewing people in the town, and it's supposedly well known in the town that Kurt Wadsworth is gay, which I think it means a little more out there because, hey Gladys, it means a little more out there because a lot of the people are Mormons and like very religious, so they like if they were, they would deny it, I guess. But so there was an interview that Doug from No Thanks did with a guy named Ty, if I recall. And he was like a local townsperson from Montello, and Ty said that it's well known in the town that Kurt is gay. And he said that he would often like sit at the bar and wait for new money to come into town and take advantage of him. And there's another guy that's like that too. I can't I have it written down so I could go look. But apparently him and how I said Kurt and Dylan were close, and Dylan worked with Kurt, or Kurt worked for Dylan, and Kurt said that he would let Dylan stay at his mobile home sometimes because Montello, so I guess Dylan has to go into town to get his grain and things like that, and then to go to the bar or wherever. To drive back to his camper is really far, so he would let him stay over at his camper sometimes. Well, now I guess the family, the parents, and Jim, or the parents are mad at Jim, and I don't know if he was technically fired or what, but so Jim's been talking to people, but so Kurt did an interview today. He said that he helped Dylan out, and he would let Dylan sleep at his phone, and then they asked if there was like a militia, because there's rumors that there's this like militia in town, and it's not really like, he says it's not a militia. I mean, I guess it could be considered a militia, but it's more like a neighborhood watch, where I guess they don't have a lot of policing out there, so like criminals kind of just like do what they want, and they, in his words, follow the tweakers because they rob people, and he follows them around and makes sure that like there's a group of people that follow them to make sure they don't do anything bad. But he says it's, you know, like just a neighbor, like a neighborhood watch on steroids, I guess we'd call it. And then Kurt Wadsworth has two brothers who are both sex offenders, I believe. Troy and Scott. And they have lengthy records. And which one had scratches? Hold on. Okay, so Scott had scratches on his arm. And he said that he got them from a three-wheeler crash. And then a lot of people had suspected Kurt had been involved because Kurt had called the police and told them that this guy, Robert Avila, and Chase Venstra were holding Dylan captive at Robert Avila's mom's house. So, I know. This is like, it's so much. So, the FBI or whatever, they went there and they didn't find anything of that like nature. And this guy, the guy Ty who did an interview, said that the guy Robert's mom would have never allowed that in her home. So he just doesn't believe that. So I felt like the Kurt guy was he got a little like defensive about the gay questions, like very defensive. She asked him like, who does Dylan hang out with? And instead of like naming Dylan's friends, he got defensive and was like, well, we only have a working relationship. You know, like he started talking about their relationship, and then it was only working, and then he was like, well, I guess you could say that we were friends. Like he would come over and cook pizza there for himself and things like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange, Sarah. Very. So he said that, you know, he started out doing Dylan's dawn work, he called it, like I guess early morning work, and that he was digging a trench for him to put down a pipeline. Kurt is Mormon. He also said that Dylan was not involved in drugs at all that he knew. Hold on, Chase. Yeah, so we said Chase. So this is what Dylan told Kurt, that Chase jumped out at me. He had one boot on, a t-shirt wrapped around one foot, scratches all over his face, and his feet were bloody. And he asked for a drink, and Dylan gave him a soda. He also said that he couldn't find his gun, he couldn't find his mobile home, and that he couldn't find his daughter, and seemed very out of it, like not really knowing what was going on, I guess. Okay, so Kurt said that he was around that time, was at home, because it was around Memorial Day, that he was home with his daughter and like her 7 friends and her husband. So he had like a lot going on there. So I don't know if his like story found out. Personally, I think Chase Venstra is involved, but there is a new development today that may or not be connected, which I will get to. So there's another thing that's a little weird is there's this guy, Jim, who lives on Dylan's property. There's so many moving parts that it's hard to keep up. But this guy, Jim, had lived there previously with the old owner. And he said Jim was kind of like a not very sociable guy. And he was better not in town. Then he had gotten to a couple fights. And so he had this guy pretty much like look out for the property when he wasn't home. So Jim, I guess when he bought the property, just kind of like came with it. Jim had the key to the gate. And he said, I guess on the day that Dylan went missing, that usually Dylan calls him for the key. And he had never called him, so not sure if he had left the property or not. I personally think that maybe this guy Chase, when he had jumped out and asked him for a ride, he had, got him in his sights maybe, and then decided that, he would, rob him, I guess. And he's also in jail on unrelated charges, Chase Ventura right now. So he's not. I don't know if they're purposely trying to hold him on like dumb charges to keep him there, but yeah, he's in jail. So Dylan, and then so then there's this woman, Eileen Berg, Ellen Berg, sorry, Ellen. She owns the bar, and she knows the Wadsworths, and she sticks up for the Wadsworths, like hardcore, because she knows their mother, I guess. And then her son, Dylan Berg, also was sticking up for the Wadsworths, but Dylan Berg had told people in town that at one point he saw Kurt cross-dressing in like a red wig and like makeup, and that he was crying and makeup was coming down his face. So he said he saw Kurt in drag. So that's why people think that there may have been some like a relationship between Dylan and Kurt. I don't know if there was or not, or if he was like trying to groom him or what. I don't know. He denies it totally and says he just wanted to help this kid fulfill his dreams. And he said that Dylan's dad, Justin, was just like sitting outside his house, and that the FBI has not really talked to him that much, even though he's the person who knows everything about Dylan. So, okay, so this guy, Ivo, he's the guy with the airport that lives nearby, which I'm pretty sure that's where Dylan stores his gray truck. There was no tracks coming onto the property. So, like, when it rains, the like sand or mud or whatever you call it gets very cakey and will stick to anything and make tracks. Apparently, there was no tracks onto the property, and the truck was power washed. It was power washed. So here's the weird part. The whole truck was power washed, but the undercarriage wasn't power washed. And I don't think the tires were either. There was lots of mud still in the undercarriage. And then the back of the truck, the pickup part, like the back pickup part, was the truck bed was power washed, but the bumper still had mud on it. So it almost looked like somebody had power washed the car, maybe to hide evidence. And then the seat was really far up, as if somebody else had drove it who was a little shorter. I'd like to know how tall Chase Ventura is, but apparently the seat was pulled up really far. Alright, so then this guy, Ty Corbin, or I don't know if that's his last name, but he was under the name Phyllis Corbin, but his name was Ty. He's from Montello. He lived in Montello for 33 years. He said that that the PI guy was pretty spot on with the things that he came out with, and that the PI Jim, and that the Wadsworth brothers had abused a lot of women, and that Kurt is known to be gay around town. He said Kurt being gay is common knowledge in the town. And then, like I said, Dylan saw Kurt in a wig. And then Ellen, the bar owner, she supposedly has like a gambling problem or something. He also said that they policed the tweakers, like Kurt said, like the neighborhood watch on steroids. And Ty believes that Chase Ventura murdered him. And then he said at first he thought it was Kurt because Kurt told the police that Dylan was being held hostage there, which really makes me wonder, like, why would he even say that, or where would he even get that idea from, that he was being held hostage there? But that's what Kurt told. I don't know if he told the FBI or the Elko County Police, but Ty thinks that Kurt is a effing sleazebag, and Scott is in jail. And then he said it's well known that Kurt had a boyfriend in Victorville, California, and he said Montello, Nevada is literally called like a meth hole because there's so many people on meth there. So, murder. Oh, okay. So he said this is why he thinks that Chase. Yeah, it did turn interesting real fast. So this is why he thinks Chase Ventura is involved. So he said that Chase is basically on meth and that they rob people for money, for drugs, and they had robbed this man and almost beat him to death, and just like beat him to death with a gun and like left him there. And he said like lately there's been this meth going around that has fentanyl in it, and it's making people literally crazy. I guess you get like addicted to that aspect of it too, and then people go to greater lengths to like rob people and get money for it. So he thinks that Chase ambushed him that morning and did something with him. Oh yeah, Flintstone Foot. It's very messy. Hey Britt. Everybody check out Allegedly with Brittany J. She has a great channel, by the way. Just giving her a little shout out. Oh, yeah, this story is insane. I know, it's so tough. It's all over the place. Like I don't even know where to begin because I like don't want to. It's like one of those stories where like you don't want to disrespect anyone because like it hurt. Obviously people's feelings are being hurt in this, but at the same time, that's just what the people in town are saying. So it's like it's kind of a hard case to go over, and there's so many parts to it. There's also what is it? He had a friend who lived with him. He has another friend. I think his name is JD. And then there's a photographer. I think he would take like I don't really know much about the photographer though. Oh, and then there's this llama farmer who was shot at. I don't know if he lives in Montello or if he lives close to Dylan, but yeah, I'm kind of torn about his mom too. Like obviously his parents really care about him. But even Kurt said that he told Kurt that he wasn't very close with his parents. And then Jim, the PI guy, said that his grandparents had hired him, but they didn't want his parents to know because they felt like the parents were going to, like, I guess, screw things up. So I don't know what to think about the mom either. Like, I don't know. And, like, I would really love to know. I don't want to say that she's a suspect because I personally don't think she is, but it could hurt to see, if he had some kind of life insurance policy or something, or, I mean, you have to look at every angle no matter what, you know what I mean? But I've also heard that Dylan's dad has been in town just like sitting outside of people's houses, like waiting to talk to him. Like he is like hardcore just wanting to know what happened to his kid. And everyone's pretty much been saying, like, you can tell that his dad just loves him to death and he's just devastated over all this. So also basically said like Chase is in this group and they're like a thieving crew and they go out into the desert and they just like rob like mobile homes, or nobody, like if nobody's home, they'll just rob the mobile home and take everything they got. And then he also said that, so very close to Dylan's home is like an airspace place, and they do a lot of like testing and stuff. So he said that area should have a lot of satellites watching it, and that they might be able to like get stuff off of the satellites. I think the FBI either knows who it is, or like I think they know who it is, they just don't know where Dylan is. Or because, all right, here's what I found interesting. The mom contaminated the crime scene, and they took the truck. Like, this is what I don't get. Obviously, if the truck was power washed and it looked odd, why would you bring the truck home? But then when the FBI got involved, they took the truck, and then shortly after they took the truck, they said that they made it a foul play. Like, they changed the case to like from missing to like it got upgraded to like foul play. Like, they believe foul play had happened. So part of me thinks maybe they had found something in the truck. I think they took the truck on June 15th, and then by the 17th, they had said that the case had turned into, they were investigating foul play. So there's definitely something in that truck, in my opinion. And I've also heard that they are digging in, I guess he had a shed. Let me see if I can like pull up some kind of map. So they said they're digging in some kind of Lucid, Utah, right? Oh yeah, hold on. I wonder if they have I know some people had maps up, but I didn't really I should have looked earlier for it. But if anyone has a map of the place, email me. Let me know if you have it. Email me or send me a pic. But yeah, basically they have the place like roped off, and they're digging in the shed, which I can see. But here's the thing. All right, so most people think like the sand out there is like loose sand, but it's not. It's really, really hard, impacted, like dirt. That's really hard to dig into, in my opinion. So I think that he would need, like, the guy couldn't have done it alone. Like, I think if the guy Chase did it, there was multiple people involved. Like, if they buried him. But out in the middle of the desert is like a needle on a haystack out there. It's literally just like dirt and tumbleweeds everywhere. So, I don't know. There's also like this railroad, and the guy Ty said that you could ride the railroad up with like a 3-wheeler and get there in like an hour and a half. So I think, especially, isn't his wallet missing? I believe his wallet was gone and his phone. And I wonder if he had anything else in the house that was like valuable. But I feel like if they were gonna rob him, they would have took more than his wallet, unless he had like a ton of money in his wallet. But who knows? I don't know. I'm just all right. So yeah, this is Dylan said. He said, "Mom, you wouldn't believe this guy who jumped out of the desert. He was bloody. He didn't have any shoes on, and he wanted a ride. And he said that he didn't give him a ride. That's what he told his mom." Like, personally, I think if anyone did it, it's him. But I think it's, noteworthy to look into the other people. Let me see what else this guy said. Yeah, so basically he said that, like, Kurt's kind of like a piece of crap, and that he just sits in the bar and he waits for, like, people with money to come into town, which I don't even know why people with money, like, maybe people want to dig for, like, gold or something, but, like, why would people with money even come into that town? Like, I just don't get it. There's nothing there. And then he said Oh, he also said that Kurt lied about Dylan living with him. So I don't know if he meant like Dylan stayed there a lot more than Kurt put off. Like Kurt made it seem like Dylan slept there once in a while when he didn't want to drive all the way back home. And then Ty said that that he lied about that. So I don't know if he like Dylan lived with him a lot more often than he put off, but he did say Dylan would stay at his house a lot. And then he said that Robert Avila went to the site to help look like search, I guess, or to go with the FBI maybe, and that Ty drove him there. And he also said that Robert Avila's mom is really hell bent on trying to figure out what happened to Dylan, and she's trying to convince her son Robert to, hey Radio Gaga. So Robert's mom has been trying to convince Robert to tell the FBI why he gave Chase a ride to Lucin. So I guess Robert gave Chase a ride to Lucin, which makes me think, I mean, why else would he be going to Lucin, right? It's pretty far. It's like 2 hours away. So if you're like going out there, what's small money to us is bigger to them. Yeah, I guess you're right. But it's crazy to me that it's probably, I mean, they really have like nothing out there. So it's just so bizarre to me. They don't even have a place to shop for clothes, but they have 3 bars. Oh, you didn't have to shut yours down, Queen. Sorry, I didn't know you went live either. Well, come back up and I'll go on your panel. I'm going to end this soon. We can. I didn't know I would have went on your panel. Thank you, though. Just playing catch up on the case. Very sad. This young man is missing. Yeah, it's so. It's just so crazy. It's like there's so many. I don't even know where to begin. But here, I'll share the link if anyone. I don't know. I didn't hear that, Queen. But there's only 3 bars, and one is like one is like a restaurant bar, and then I think the other 2 are like bars, and then the one lady, Ellenberg, she owns the one bar, and she said that they said that she's a gambler, so I guess people give her like payments or something for gambling. Maybe they do like they bet on things there, because she was talking about how she was waiting for Scott to like pay her or something like that. So I'm only going to guess that they like take bets and stuff there. And then her son, I kind of wish. All right, so then Ellen's son, Dylan Berg, he got on and started talking. Whose panel was this? I can't even keep up. I think it was Doug's panel. There's been so many. So Dylan, he comes on and he starts talking about, oh, she had gambling machines. Okay, you think I can see that, the bar being like a front for, I don't know, like there's a lot of meth and stuff in there, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some underground stuff going on there for sure. I mean, it seems like they care more about like drinking and drugging than like going shopping for clothes. You know what I mean? Like that's all they have there is a gas station and bars. Like it's just so bizarre. Yeah, gambling or drugs. Yep. So the guy Dylan gets on, he starts going off about the LDS church, and he thinks there's something more to the LDS church. And then his mom started like interrupting him, and he's like, God, shut up! Like I'm just trying to like listen to me. It's my time to talk. He was getting so mad. I know well. That's why I should have. That's why I went live at 8, because I figured I would end it by 9, because all of them start at 9 and I kind of want to watch them. I'm not gonna lie. So I figured because I didn't do a live about this yet, just to like give a little like fill anybody in who hasn't watched it. And then you were probably thinking the same way, Queen. Well, when you go live about it again, I'll come up on your panel and we'll talk about it because I have so much to say. There's so much more, but I've been trying to write everything down. We should cancel one of them and come over here. Yeah, I wish too. Well, I did talk to him because I asked him about James Brennan. So, all right. So this is what I wanted to get to. Yeah, he's very blunt. He's pretty entertaining too. So, all right. So there's this guy now. The Idaho News is reporting that there's this guy James Brennan, and now they made it very clear that they're not sure if he's connected. Hey, Coffee and Crochet with Kelly. All right, so what was I saying? All right, so the Idaho News came on and they said that there's this guy James Brennan who was a neighbor to Dylan. I think they said he lived about 5 miles. Hold on, I have it on my phone. All right, so an arrest warrant was issued in Utah for a man living near Dylan Rounds. I think he lived within like 5 miles, which I guess is close out in the middle of the desert. I don't know. It seems far away to me because my neighbor's like 30 feet. But, yeah, you caught me, Lex. Hey. And, all right, so the warrant against 59-year-old James Brennan is for possessing a firearm as a felon and was filed Wednesday in U.S. District Court. KUTV reporter Jeremy Harris was first to report the news. This isn't the first time Brennan has faced that charge. He was sentenced in 2012 to 33 months in prison for being a felon in possession of a firearm. He has other felony convictions on his record. The arrest warrant indicates Brennan was squatting in a trailer about 5 miles from Rounds property. He and another man referred to as DH. They didn't give this guy's name. They just said DH. So I have no idea who DH is. They were friends of Rounds. In court He and another man referred to as DH in court documents were friends of Rounds and his family. So they knew Rounds. Rounds had been farming in a rural town of Lucin near the Utah-Nevada border and last spoke with his grandmother on May 28th, very early in the morning, in case anyone missed the beginning. He talked to her at like 6-something in the morning, and it was about to rain. He said he needed to get the grain truck. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, everyone, please check out Queen Bee's channel. She's my girl. I love her. Her channel's awesome. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Since then, nobody has heard from him other than a pair of Rounds boots on the property. There has been no sign of him anywhere. The Box Elder County Sheriff's Office interviewed Brennan on June 7th during the search for Rounds, and according to court documents, 9 days later, court documents indicate the Sheriff's Office and FBI executed a search warrant on Brennan's trailer. Oh yeah, Kelly. Sorry, I forgot you had a channel. And also check out Coffee and Crochet with Kelly. All my girls are in here. Yes, Queen has a great channel. I haven't seen your channel, Kelly, but I'll have to check it out. But Queen and Brittany J's channel are awesome. So they searched this guy's camper that he was squatting in, by the way. It wasn't actually his camper. He was squatting in it. And they found ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, and speed loads, all related to muzzle loading. They were located and photographed in the trailer, but the items were not seized by the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office. There was no muzzle loader firearms located in a trailer at that time, the arrest warrant says. And then law enforcement spoke with DH on June 20th, and court documents say he told investigators that after rounds went missing and after Brunner spoke with police on June 7th, Brunner brought 3 black powder guns to DH's residence and asked him to safe keep them. So basically, after they searched his property, he brought these guns to this guy's residence and asked him to like hide them for him. And when DH asked him why, Brunner stated that he needed to do this for his own safety, and that the last time he had trouble with the law, they took everything from him, and he did not want the things he had left to be taken again, the arrest warrant says. DH agreed to store the muzzle loaders and later turned them over to the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office, where they were booked into evidence. The next day, the FBI interviewed DH again and reportedly told investigators Brunner also brought him a .22 caliber rifle around the same time he brought over the muzzle loaders. So he brought over all these guns, and hi Matt, I see it's you. And then all right, so DH told us that he didn't mention the .22 rifle when interviewed before because he had been owed money by the rifle's original owner, and that he felt he should have a claim over the .22 rifle that Brunner asked him to store to cover the debt, the warrant says. He explained to us that the rifle had been left in a trailer on the property where Brunner had been living prior to Brunner living there by a person who owed DH money. So I guess DH had Brunner holding it there? I don't know. When Brunner moved in, he took possession of the gun. Okay, so Brunner moved in. He took possession of the gun, according to DH. During the interview, DH told investigators he knew Brunner wasn't allowed to have firearms because of his criminal history, and DH turned over the rifle and case to enforcement. It was loaded with 5 rounds of ammunition. Another search warrant was issued on Brunner's trailer, and the sheriff's office seized a muzzleloader, boxes of ammunition, ignition caps, 4 pounds of black powder, and speed loads. The warrant does not mention if Brunner is a suspect in Round's disappearance and does not include any further information on the search for the missing man. They have an arrest warrant. I can read it if you want, but that was pretty much like a summary of it. But they do have an arrest warrant. Okay, so Dylan's property is a 5-mile walk from she's in Germany, Matt. Yeah. So his thing is a 5-mile walk, so probably not too far of a drive. I don't know, it's probably like what, like a 5-minute drive, maybe? I don't know. Maybe a little more than that. Everything I read is pretty much on there. I'm just going over it real quick to see if I see anything different. Yeah, it basically said exactly what that said. It just said that he lived about a 5. Yeah. So I asked Jim, the PI, about it, and he said that the guy had enough ammunition to supply the Ukraine, as a joke, but it made me laugh. So yeah, that's the new. They didn't say if there is a connection or not with this guy, but he does live close by, and he was shady about hiding guns. So there's, always a possibility, I guess, that he could be involved. I personally think Chase Ventura is involved, but there's so many moving parts that I'm not even really, 100% on that. But it does kind of sound like, to me, that maybe Chase Ventura had, maybe that run-in was on purpose, or maybe after an accidental run-in, maybe he decided to target Dylan. In my opinion, he just seems like you know, the number one suspect, and he's in jail now. And it seems like they're holding him in there because maybe they suspect him too. But I wish I had a picture of this guy's like where he sleeps. There's no way this could have been his house. Like he must have had another house. But when I tell you, like, it was like a hole that was probably like 5 feet by 5 feet, maybe even smaller, maybe like 3 feet. No, probably like 5 feet by 5 feet. And then like what looked like a cardboard box over it. And supposedly it was like his bunker where he would sleep in. But and then there was dead dogs buried in there, which is totally gross. But I just can't imagine that's like actually where he lives. Maybe it's just like a place that he like sleeps. I don't know. But this case is like one of those cases. It's turning into like a complete and utter circus. Cardboard box bunker sounds legit. I mean, I'll say that the hole was very neatly squared off. Whoever did it, it looked like it was done with a backhoe or something because it was like perfectly aligned. But there was definitely 2 dead dogs in the hole, and like, I don't know, maybe it was a wooden box, but bulletproof. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't know if the Kurt guy's involved. I think maybe, I don't even know if him and Dylan had a relationship, but maybe he was trying to like, you know, start one with him, but only 2. Yeah, so far I only seen 2 dead dogs in the picture. It looked only like 2. But then again, I don't know because Kurt has brothers. So the one brother like held his girlfriend hostage in his home for like hours or something. And then the other brother, I think it's 2 different brothers, unless it's the same brother who did everything. But then the other one, I'm pretty sure Kurt said on the interview that he gave a 17-year-old girl a camera to plug into her computer. So I guess he was having her like film herself or something. I don't know, but it's really bizarre. But I'm going to end it now because I know there's a lot of lives happening tonight with interviews. So I just kind of like wanted to do a little rundown of the case so people who weren't caught up could catch up, and then maybe over the weekend we'll dig a little more or like add more to it. But I just wanted to go over like the key moving parts so people who haven't really completely caught up yet just are caught up now. And yes, Sarah, love you, Matt. Of course. And everyone, don't forget, check out my girl Queen Bee, her channel. Her link is in the chat somewhere. And Coffee and Crochet with Kelly. She has a channel. She said it's under construction, but she'll be doing a live soon. So make sure you check her out. And Allegedly with Brittany J. Check out her channel too. Yeah, Dead Dogs Radio. Gaga, Dead Dogs. It was like, apparently he was, I don't know, somebody mentioned like maybe that the dead dogs, maybe their scent would like cover up a scent of something, and maybe that's why I had him in there. But they definitely, so it looked as though somebody had found his bunker and dug it up and found the dead dogs and then just left them dug up, unless they were never covered. I don't know, but there was literally a picture of 2 dead dogs like wrapped in blankets in this bunker. But like, it's not even, I can't even call it a bunker. Like, it's a hole in the ground with what appeared to be a cardboard box on top. I don't know. Like, who had the picture on? It might have been Doug with I'm okay. Or I can't even say it. What is it? No thanks. I'm okay, no thanks. Investigates or something like that. I just call him Doug. I think he had the picture up, or maybe Laura. One of them had the picture up, but then they shared the picture of the dead dogs, and I couldn't really see it because it was like far away and I have bad eyes, so I couldn't really make out. I just saw like gray with some towels wrapped around them, but I don't know. Oh, and I believe that the guy Vedstra also has animal abuse charges. Like animal abuse charges in his long list of charges, so you have that too. But yeah, so I just wanted to fill everybody in, and I'll definitely do another live about this. It seems like things hopefully will be turning around and they'll be finding more stuff out soon. So, all right, guys, good night. Thank you for coming. Bye.